Sorry.
Do you think it would end so emphatically?
No, dreams can be as wild as you want them to be, but yeah, you dream about performances like that. I think trying to find the words for it. On a wet day where that can bring footy down a bit. I thought it was a great game of footy. We ended up 46,000, in conditions like that. Shows where the state's at and where our members and supporters are at. So really, it gives you that edge. But for our guys to perform the way they did and be just so clean and ruthless in the contest, we tackled as well as I've ever seen us tackle. There was a point there, I'm not sure if we had a missed tackle, or maybe one. And that's years of work. It's years of work just putting in the gym. And I mentioned at post-game to a few about the crew that we've got in high performance that are as good as any. And when we talk about good people at our footy club, that's the people we're talking about, not just our players, it's our staff. And so it was one of those nights, Rooch, that you dream about.
In a week when everyone kept thinking the rain was going to be quite damaging, why did you get it so right? What is it that your players understood about wet weather footy tonight?
I think it comes back to preparation. So we spoke in the pre-game about, the noise that was probably around about wet weather and that will bring the game back and maybe the favourite. And we came in knowing showdowns are showdowns, so that it was going to be a ruthless contest. And up until half-time, the game was still on. But we had a belief that the work we've done on our bodies and getting ourselves mentally in the space we need to be in, that eventually we'd be able to grind over the top. And I thought, looking back, that third quarter it may not have looked great on the telly, but just the way we went about it in really trying conditions, surging the ball, knocking it forward, we just didn't give our opposition a chance to get their game going at all.
Did you think you'd signed Miles Bergman on that first bounce? What were you thinking?
We were actually talking about, will this be a stoppage score or will this be a turnover score? I haven't seen anything like that. Things go your way occasionally. It's one of those ones where we're lucky because it was a great clearance for us.
The fourth quarter, was that one of the things that pleased you most? The game's over from a contest perspective, and you got blokes throwing themselves on the ball, chase down tackles, everything that you would be expecting in any part of any game, particularly a close one, and you're still doing it right at the end in those conditions. Yeah,
we're hungry. We're enjoying playing footy. I don't think we wanted that one to end, and that can happen. And so, we're in a position where we want the game to keep going, and our opposition, it's tough. We've been on the other end of that, and it's really hard from a mental point of view to continue to push. But our guys kept fighting, and some of that will come back to our squad strength as well. And having a list, unfortunately, it looks like Max might have done a hammy, but having a list that is healthy and pressure from below, and for spots, I think helps you drive right through to the end. And no one wants to let the team down.
Where's the confidence level?
Well, it's as good as it's been for a number of years. It comes off of belief. So confidence comes off of belief. We've had a belief there for a long period of time that we're going in the right direction. At the moment, we're playing there's momentum. We've got some great momentum at this point, and we know how hard that is to keep that momentum. But the guys are doing everything possible just to continue to reset themselves and go on to the next week. And we've been so good in that space. There's still so much to work on though, but tonight was a pretty complete performance.
Do you allow yourself to get excited though? I know you're trying to keep a lead and just move on to the next week.
Yeah.
Where this might go.
Yeah, well, from an individual, my point of view, no. We got a job to do, but for our members and our supporters, I love it. Like if I was a member and a supporter of our footy club right now, I'd be getting excited. I'd embrace it. Like get out, talk to your mates, enjoy talking about footy because it's been tough, right? We go back to 2020 and it's not that long ago. that we were doing it pretty tough through 21 and 22, 23. So for them, embrace and enjoy it, but we know through last year, our lessons are, that's not our job. Our job's to go out and perform. And so the boys will enjoy it for the next couple of hours, maybe half an hour in the rooms, and then we're 6-day break again. So we just put our heads down and go to work. But we do want the members and that to enjoy it.
You don't have to go as far back as 2020. Last year there was some real downtimes as well. Off the back of that, I know you've had some significant recruits, including someone like Murray Davis, let alone your players. But could you have seen this sort of thing coming last season when you're in those sort of...
Yeah, we saw the development. So the downtimes you're talking about, as a supporter of our club, it would have been really tough through the last 5 years. Not necessarily knowing the detail of what was going on inside the four walls. But from our point of view, we were developing quickly, really quickly. In fact, probably too fast. And last year, got it wrong from a focus point of view and what it was we needed to perform at our best. And so it's a great lesson for a young group. And we were that last year, a very young group. And we acquired players. Our list improved 12 months on with guys developing organically and continuing to develop. And then this year came around and we've been able to get the process right. There's been a couple of weeks we've been a bit off, but majority of the season we've got our process right and performed.
How much has your game developed as well? Not just your players, but then they've got a game they've got to play.
Yeah.
Which more has that developed this year?
Well, as you mentioned, we've continued to get people in, players and staff and experience. And so we're always learning. We continue to develop the way we play. Where's the game going? We're challenged with that all the time because they change the rules. Ruck rules and stand rules and, what sort of player do we want in the midfield? Where's the game going now? You can't tackle, although tonight was a game where you could tackle, obviously. But our game's, always developing. Always. We're constantly looking at the other teams, who's the benchmark, what do we need to look at, what are they doing? We learned a hell of a lot last year off the Giants. I could talk about so many clubs. And we keep adjusting to try and improve and keep up with the game.
So what happens when they start looking at you? How would you feel then?
Well, that'd be nice. It'd be a nice sign of respect, and I've got no doubt they do. I think every club knows they've got to continue to improve, and we're still looking at a lot of clubs now too, Rich. We haven't stopped trying to learn, and we'll always be in that space.
6-day break and really tough conditions out there. You had the luxury of such a big margin. Were you able to adjust your interchange accordingly in that last quarter?
Yeah, we did towards the end of that game. We had a little bit of a different look on ball. Guys that we wanted to give an opportunity to, which is a great position to be in. You don't often get that. Unfortunately, the sub had already been made, but we were able to manage through the bench as well late, so to take off some of the guys that we didn't necessarily, we don't want to risk anyone, but, to get Riley off the ground and Tex at a different point was, that's a bonus for us, especially with 2 6-day breaks in a row.
Last couple of guys.
What did you see from Curtin in that role that you liked?
A lot, yeah. Even prior to that, I thought with the game being played predominantly down one side and it being a contest, he spent enough time around the footy up until that point. But to actually get him in on ball and challenge him against, strong midfield opposition, it's another step. It's almost another string to his bow. That we were confident that he would have that in his game. Again, work-ons, still a lot of work-ons, but a really positive one for us.
Pleased to keep forward wins a medal rather than a midfielder?
We actually didn't really mind who won the medal. We moved solely forward in the last quarter. I thought both players played a really strong game as individuals, but in the end, I think that's one of the strengths we have at this point. It's a real balance of performance at the moment. There's not many having 30 plus. The score involvements are spread throughout the group. It's different from week to week depending on conditions or who's, our opposition. So yeah, it's a good position to be in, that we're not reliant on one. But I thought Riley had a great game tonight, as did a number of others.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.